Good evening, SRA Nation. I am bringing to you Division 3 at Zandvoort for round 2 of Season 4. Can you believe it? Season 4 of SRA. We are making headway. I am joined today by two very talented individuals. One who claims to be the fastest driver in SRA, which that is yet to be confirmed, and the other is just super wholesome. We have Dominic Duran and Steven Sarver.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Nice to see Doug's already putting words in my mouth. Let's get after it tonight.
Good evening, everybody. How's it going?
I can confirm that Dominic has brought his thesaurus, so we're going to be very, very well educated this evening. Man of very many words. But I, for one, am more excited for the racing that D3 is going to be bringing us this evening. They have proven to be quite quick in the practice races, and last week did not disappoint. I am ready for week 2. We are racing at Zandvoort this week, and you can thank Mr. Landshark for making this gorgeous graphic. Thank you, sir. As you can see here, Zandvoort is quite twisty with 14 corners, and it is located in the Netherlands with a distance of 4.2 kilometers, or for us North American folk, 2.6 miles. Duran, what are your thoughts on this track as a whole?
High downforce, high focus, not a lot of straights or any room to take breaks or relax. A lot of camber, so there's also a lot of grip here. There's just a lot. I keep saying a lot, but it is what it is. It's a great track, super great flow. It's a lot of fun racing here, although it is super hard to pass people. So patience is key, and keeping your nose clean is even more key.
Mr. Sarver, how was your experience racing this last night?
Um, the track is very tight, and one little slip up, and you have to let the whole train go by. There's no way to get back on track safely in some of these areas.
And quite the train forms. Yesterday in D1, we had up to 20 cars at a time racing in one train, nose to tail, less than a second apart from each other. 5/10 usually is the average between them, and I expect nothing less for D3. There will be smaller gaps, smaller groups of cars going, but there's going to be similar gaps, very tight. Right now, let's take a gander at the team standings for Division 3. In first place, we have Blue Shift Racing with 145 points, and the rest of the grid is quite tight. Apex Hunters with 126, D3s with 123, Grid Thieves Motorsports the third with 122, and Ghost Rider Racing Bravo with 107, and a crowd favorite, Team McLaren, specifically the Toxic Goose Squad. And then in seventh, which there's plenty of room for improvement for these guys, I'm biased with Team Tyler's Toes with 93 points. Are there any personal favorites amongst you guys on the 22 teams that have fielded in D3 so far?
I'm kind of biased to the team in 17th place. That's the conglomerate that I'm a part of, the baseline, with Cersone and Jobry, I think.
That sounds right.
BMW.
Yep, sounds right.
They were the Jobry and Roderick's, my teammate, were the team champions last season, so we're kind of split and trying to run it back.
Duran, how about you?
I cannot get behind Tyler's Toes, as I, unlike the rest of the community, am not obsessed with feet this season. I don't know
Shame
why
on
it's a
you.
seasonal thing. Maybe it's summer, the toes are out, and everybody's fetish is also coming out. But I am gonna have to go with the guys rounding out the bottom of the leaderboard, Planny Racing 3 and the Flying Photographic Ferraris. My apologies.
They'd probably
part of the Ferrari
like
conglomerate.
to think that they're photogenic though, right?
Well, they have a phenomenal livery, so they definitely are photogenic.
Yeah, this is true.
But yeah, they're part of the Ferrari conglomerate, and the Ferraris have done great things this season. You know, these boys, they have 7 weeks left to make it out of the bottom, and I'm sure they will.
The only way is up, right?
Exactly.
Well, to
What a
Duran's,
great place to be.
yeah, to my Duran's point here, these teams are made up of 2 drivers, and here are those said drivers. So, in first place, who took the dub last week, Ramsey Connolly in a McLaren with 110. And then going down the order, we have Nick Tower in the Aston Martin, Daniel Gutierrez with Tyler's Toes, my boys, in the NSX. I don't know how he's driving the wheels off that thing. He is faster than I am, and I'm 2 divisions higher. Maybe we should swap spots here. But going down the pecking order, you can see gold lines, some silver lines, and some red lines. Mr. Sarver, can you explain the splits amongst the division here?
So each division has 2 groups. The gold are the gold drivers, which have the highest safety rating of the group of that division. The silver are your silver drivers, which is just the lower half of the division, and then the red are new drivers that haven't raced at least 3 races to get a driver safety rating.
That's correct. And once they get that 3, which will be popular after week 3, drivers will be scouring our website to find where they landed, kind of like the football roster after practice the first week of school, you know? Everyone's going to be hunting for that. But yeah, excited to see a lot of red bars in this grid. That means that we have a lot of new faces in the community, and that makes me a very happy admin. But you guys are not here to just look at graphics with names and points associated with it. You're here for some racing. So let's get on track. And here we are. Currently looking at Curtis Lee in his Lexus. Like Mr. Sarver mentioned previously, our division is split into gold and silver. The qualifying is 30 minutes long, and we're picking up here with 9 minutes to spare. The silver split goes out first for the first 15 minutes, so we have missed their specific qualifying session. But Duran can share with the group the details of who placed where while we watch Mr. Curtis here drive around the track.
So, currently we have Walid Sadat in the Porsche. This is a great Porsche track, so we should be seeing some good things from him tonight. But he's currently sitting on provisional pole with a 35.6, followed closely by Mr. Gutierrez, the tow connoisseur, in P2. Then we have OMG, it's Pav, another Honda. Honda should also be great at this track. And Pav is in P3. Then we have Mr. Sircone in a BMW in P4. Jory GTG in P5. Ramsey Connolly, P6. Mr. Tony Spaghetti, P7. Mr. Henke, P8. Jitesh in P9. And Mr. Browning in P10. That's where we stand thus far.
Those are your first 5 rows as we see Mr. Spaghetti take a ride into the grass, and that gives us an opportunity to discuss the track limits and how dangerous off-track situations are. Steven, do you mind going over what can happen to our beloved drivers if they step a foot off the tarmac?
This track has lots and lots of sand. It's like you're at the beach. So if you step off, you're gonna go for a ride, and not only that, none of the off-track sections are really flat. So you're going over bumps and hills as you're trying to get back on. So it's not a safe place to be.
We found many times, and Duran can actually attest to this personally, that if you go off, you have to wait for the entire grid, depending on where you're at, to just drive on past you. It's heart-wrenching, I'm sure.
Vietnam flashbacks.
The Hueys flying overhead with the music blaring over the intercoms as you just sit on the sidelines of a race you thought you were going to win.
Sometimes you gotta make a decision, either crash out the whole field in turn 2 or die the noble death and put yourself in a wall.
One situation gets you banned and one gets you honored with a tombstone on the corner with some flowers. I think that the latter is much more enjoyable personally, but that's for each driver to make a personal choice every week. Again, personal bias here, but look at the livery on OMG It's Pav. Can you tell me, is there a better looking livery in the grid right now? I don't think so.
You know, it just pops out in the morning hours. I think this lighting really, it really does some magic for the bright neon stuff on the car.
Definitely agree. That's a nice livery.
OMG It's Pav and Daniel Gutierrez are teammates, and they're sitting in P2 and P3 at the moment. Could have a similar situation to the Patrick Rust and Brooker Quigg scenario of D1, two Porsches that were sitting P2 and P3 at the beginning of the race. It did have a little bit of a hiccup, which caused some falling down the pecking order. Hopefully these boys, part of the Dadman's conglomerate, do not make a similar fate, and they can finish the race on the podium. But let's look for someone who's making a good push here. Who can?
Gutierrez was up. He was Towers up 6/10 right now, early in his run.
Let's do that.
Well, there went Pav right as you turned off of him.
No big deal. So, to Sarver's point, Mr. Tower here, part of Blue Shift Racing in his AMR, is 4/10 up at the moment. Currently in P13, 4/10 would earn him quite a few positions. Let's see if he can round out the second half of this lap here. And then Duran, keep a keen eye on who's going to be starting a lap relatively soon after this guy. Looks like car 131, if I'm not mistaken. We can do a track walk, and you can walk us through a lap, seeing as you are the resident coach for this week.
Good one. It's true though. I think 305. Mr. Rodriguez.
305 is going to be a good pick. Well, I'm going to wait till Mr. Tower finishes a lap. So who is right behind him? Is that 169 now?
169.
All
yep,
right,
that's Robbie Toddy.
Robbie Toddy in a Merc. We'll definitely do that. We can ride on the bonnet cam for that one because the hood is so long it can accommodate all three of us. And Mr. Tower crossed the line into P10. Nice job. And like said, Mr. Robbie Toddy is crossing the start finish. Have at it, Mr. Duran.
Oh boy. It's gonna be difficult. Non-stop talking. Hanging it out on the left, going into turn one, braking hard at the 100-meter board, keeping a tight line through here, optionally V'ing, keeping it in second gear, powering out to the left, trying not to get on the sand or grass on the left. Braking and leaving it in third here, avoiding that curb on the right, otherwise it'll bounce you like that, but he recovers still.
That's okay.
Tries to keep it tight through the hairpin.
That's okay. Keep pushing, bud.
You got this, buddy. So here we're just straight line in this section, super fun, but if you get lazy and hit a curb on the side, you're going to pay for it. Interesting turn here, downhill, fast right-hander. Keeping the nose in, but keeping the back in check. Exiting out left, using all the road, getting a wide entry and a wide exit using all the road again. Very awkward corner here, no braking marker, but trying to keep it as tight as possible. Not really concerned about our exit here. Concerned about our entry here because there is somewhat of a straight after this. So you can see Toddy's using all the road there. He's got to swing it back over to the left. Looking for the 100-meter board on the left for his brake marker. Braking hard. Softly going over the curb on the right and trying to keep it tight through this 180. A lot of 180s on this track. Going down to the penultimate turn. Braking hard, drop it to second. Try to use that inside curve for the extra rotation. Keep it out left. And as soon as you get off the curb on the left, turn it in right. And try to keep it in and stay off the grass on the left to finish off your lap.
Nicely done. Like the Ferrari F1 team principals, I have a question. I watched your coaching video, Duran, and you mentioned that in order to have a fast lap around here, you need to, quote unquote, give it the beans. So did Mr. Toddy give it the beans?
I'd say Mr. Toddy gave it the beans into turn two.
He got his beans dirty with some grass.
I'd say his beans are refried now.
Hey, where you're from, that's pretty common, is it not?
I love refried beans, but maybe not that refried.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Well, many drivers on track are kind of keeping at similar pace, but Curtis Lee in his beloved Lexus in P18 is currently finding 4.5 tenths, and he is pushing mighty hard. So we can stay on board with him and take a gander at what he's going to amount to. In the interim, do either of you have a favorite to win this race? I know it's an early prediction. I'd like to hear from the chat also on what their thoughts are.
Considering that the Porsches were strong last night in both divisions, I think Waleed's got a pretty good shot at winning this whole thing.
Duran?
He's
got his abacus out. He's making his calculations.
calculations.
He's calling Vegas right now. He's saying, I think, and then he's going to get the different figures out. I think he's going to spend a band on this one, at least. He's a high roller.
Aiden Grover says me, even though he's driving currently.
That's a bold prediction, Aiden. I guess they always say bet on the favorite there. As we see Curtis Lee cross the line there, P13, nice improvement. And while we are away, Gutierrez in the Honda, for your boys in the Dadman conglomerate, puts it in pole position at the moment. That is a great effort from him. Nice job. Let's find another driver that is finding some improvement. Eduardo Rodriguez here in his Audi of the pit maneuver squad. I think he's missing his teammate tonight, Mr. Thomas Greer. He said that he had 10 hours of sleep over 3 days. That is not healthy. However, he made the smart decision and said, I'm not going to race and cause absolute havoc on the track when he inevitably crashes. So thank you for your sacrifice. And as we see Eduardo cross the line with 2/10 of improvement, gets him up to, he remains P19. And that does it for your qualifying session, ladies and gentlemen. There you see all the beautiful cars stacked up on the grid. Any particular standout performances for you?
You got Cerson, the 4th place, relatively new to the league. Connolly's top 10 again after winning last week at Spa. That's showing a good performance from him again.
I think Mr. Watts in the Lexus. Oh no, Curtis is also in a Lexus. P9 and P13. That's not a car you see very often, and they're in a decent spot in the midfield. Curtis actually improves.
Yes, he gets to 11th. That very nice performance from him. And we have one more driver. It is the teammate of Mr. Curtis here. Crossing the line here. Stays P9. Nice job, gentlemen. I asked while you were away, Duran, who your favorite is to win the race tonight, and we, because you didn't respond, we hypothesized that you were calling Vegas to get the numbers so you could bet on somebody appropriately. So what are your thoughts?
I'll tell you what, pro strats, you don't bet on the winner. You bet on P3. You got to bet on the podium places.
Oh.
I don't know why. I don't know what the logic is behind that. I've only been to Vegas like 3 times in my life. But I'm telling you here, and I'm telling you now, it works. So.
I'm about it.
I picked. I'm going 50-50 on Henke and Jitesh in the Ferraris to get a podium tonight. I know the boys can do it.
Nice.
As far as the winner goes, I don't know. I don't care. I just want a good race.
I respect that.
Lining up on the grid with the world's longest session wait timer.
It feels like forever, doesn't it, when you're sitting in the car?
Oh, it's agony.
Oh yeah. I usually take this time to stand up, stretch a little bit, get ready for the hit the drive button and go.
No, I can
This
do
is where you make sure your pit strategy is good. And actually, that's about it. These are the last minute checks you got to make right here. Can't be sleeping. Got to let the butterflies build here.
Plan E Racing finding themselves up in the positions there. Very nice. But we're taking a look at the grid at the moment and looking and admiring at all these beautiful liveries that we had. Season 4's SRA theme is a throwback season. So our drivers interpreted that in many different ways, whether it was a throwback to an old livery like the 7-Up one you just saw. And sorry for the bouncing, that's because Mr. Watts is changing setups to his car. But you can see here that our grid is just full of artistic talent here. And you're going to find that SRA is big on community, and the amount of engagement that all of our drivers have in the community is always really great to see. And I will get off my high horse now because about in 4 seconds the grid is going to get underway on their specific warm-up lap. What am I doing?
And we're away.
We are away. And I need to get out of this horrible view. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Duran, any last minute predictions? Turn 1 hectic or clean? What are you thinking?
We're in D3. D3 had a phenomenal start last week. Super, super clean. Arguably one of the cleanest turn 1s. Well, at Spa it was turn 2. But one of the cleanest first turns out of all 4 divisions, if not the cleanest. So I am predicting another clean start from these guys this week.
I hope so. All right, they're funneling in. They're kind of getting the nerves out of their system here one last time, driving around, getting one last lap to acclimate themselves. The grid is tightly bunched up, and as we round into Sector 3, all the drivers are going to seed into 2x2, and then we will be underway.
Racing at 6 in the morning. Beautiful early morning hours.
Can't complain about that now, can we? Tyler chose this time frame for this race, knowing full well that the sun, as you crest one of the many turns around this track, blinds you. He thought it would be a nice challenge for the community, so you can thank him for that.
Little did he know we are in a virtual simulator, and settings can alleviate that pain.
Now, any driver that uses game mechanics like that to cheat, like assists or something, or lowering the quality of the game so that you don't have that blindness, is just soft, in my opinion.
Really funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's really soft.
I noticed Mercedes F1 started using a racing line. I know a couple badmans that actually use one themselves, but I won't get into it.
The racing line is a tool used by only the elite drivers. Lewis Hamilton, 7-time world champion. You don't get to the top without, using what's available to you. And
only 5 more championships and you'll be right there with him.
Yeah, I was going to say, call me the 2-time. All right, the boys are lining up. Mr. Sarver, give me a like TV1 cam at the middle of the pack so we can see.
TV1, got you.
There we go. All right, we're about to cross the line here. Good luck to the boys.
Green light, give it all you can.
Green, green, green. We are underway with SRA. The group is, pushing right into it. Gutierrez gets a great run, but so does Sadat in the Porsche. Clean so far. Nice job to the group. Still 2x2. Everyone's going to have to start making decisions here. Are we going to concede positions? Oh, Sadat goes off. The 2 NSXs get in front, and they get away clean. Now it's up to them for Team Orders to get away clean and not get in each other's way. Further back in the grid, everyone's still being quite respectful. 2x2, filing through the curves here. Some drivers only losing, swapping positions back and forth, but overall, really clean.
I'm telling you, you got to take me to Vegas.
The day you and I go to Vegas together will be a very long day, but a very fun day. I can attest to that.
That'll be more than a day.
It'll bleed into the evening. But from P1 all the way down the grid, the entire grid, apart from Holmes and P32, which got lost out, are all within a half a second of each other. The front of the grid is still the same. Gutierrez in P1, Pav in P2. Sadat, despite going off, held P3. Sircone in P4.
The grid did not shake up at all.
Hardly at all.
Good stuff from these guys.
You can see in the picture-in-picture there that the grid is just one giant daisy chain of cars at the moment. And that's a testament to these drivers taking this racing seriously. Great job to the group here as they stream down the front straight. My goodness, the line of cars is insane.
That's so perfect.
It looks like Daytona bump drafting down the straightaway.
Admittedly, as a commentator for this race, it's going to be tough to find where to put the camera because all the battles are going to be about this close. You can see the cars bumper to bumper the entire stretch of the mini-map there. And I'm glad to see that Holmes in P32 caught back up to the grid despite having an off. So he's right back in the mix also. The grid is nose to tail the entire length of all 32 cars. In the chat, call out some drivers that you want to see specifically while we're switching throughout the grid here. The top 4 are starting to build a little bit of a gap, and then the rest are still seeding in. Robbie Totti right on the bumper of P4 Sircone here.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, the tricky part about this track is there's no ideal place to overtake. The straight isn't really long enough to get a solid draft. The corners are tight. It's hard to take a compromised line in order to get a good run on someone or set up a move. It's super frustrating. So that's why patience is so important here. You got to wait for the guy in front to make a mistake because the moment you dip a wheel off track, you're in code brown recovery mode.
I would say the only real passing opportunity on this track is 826 Curtis Lee having a moment. He's falling down the pecking order. I can barely get to him. Oh no. Let's take a gander. What happened to this man? Oh, he gets punted through turn 1 by a Ferrari. Plan E Racing. Their coach really needs to drill into some driving practices. Do you know who belongs to that team?
Their coach has done something similar recently.
Oh, so it reigns supreme. That's a part of the strategy. Well, Curtis, lick your wounds, my friend. You did not fall all the way to the back of the grid. He still remains in P27. Keep it up, buddy. Going back up to the front here, Spaghetti putting immense pressure on Jobri GTG here.
I think you were talking about the one best spot to pass.
Yes.
It might be at the end of turn 12, if I'm not mistaken, or turn 11.
Correct. I think it's turn 11, which they're actually coming up on right now.
Right here.
Yep.
Exactly.
So if someone takes a wider line, you can dip on the inside and steal the apex away. And then the second best opportunity on track is turn 1, the hard braking zone. Speaking of which, I think we're going to find one here. The drivers are going to be streaking down the front straight here. Spaghetti gets a very good run. He's only 3/10 behind. You got to be a little bit closer than that, especially with the Beamer having great brakes. But that is the passing zone right there. Sarver, what are you looking at?
Forsling and the McLaren just went off in the last corner. Switching back to see what happened. Might have switched back a little too far.
Giving him some extra love. Nothing wrong with that. Did you go back 30 or 15?
30.
Yeah, 15 is the way to go.
Oh,
but
he just got loose.
Yeah, that was a snap of oversteer. That was really bizarre. That's a setup issue right there.
I thought where he went off it was a curb, but no, he just lost it.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, currently as it stands right now, Gutierrez and Pav driving off into the sunset, building a 2-second gap on P3 Sadat. These are my boys, the Badman's group. Keep pushing, boys. Get out of here. As long as you don't crash into each other, this is looking like a race win. Keep going. Oh, G-Tesh having a moment. I'm going back
My
15.
boys. My beautiful boys.
My boy's having a good night. Yours, not so much. G-Tesh does an awesome job saving that mega drift, though. Did you see that?
That was good control. That was really good control.
You
And
can
a
learn a
safe
thing or
rejoin.
two about from that guy right there. G-Tesh, nice move. Still slots back in after having that moment into P16. The race is far from over from him. He's got this to contest with, but he's having himself a good race.
Passed on the outside here for 12th position by Flo. This is a good battle. 12, 13, 14, 15 all right here together.
That's a tight cluster.
You're
look
looking
the move
at
on the outside.
yeah, you're looking at Hanky right here, yeah?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he got by Flo a little bit ago, and Flo just kind of stuck to his bumper. Now he's going to lose it to the McLaren.
Yeah, Browning and Flo getting a little, in honor of Andrew Anderson, a little argy-bargy going on. While the grid is doing this, Spaghetti 1/10 behind GTG here. GTG goes a little wide. We caught up just at the right time as they go side by side. Brave over that
Sticks the
inside.
move.
Brave over that inside curb. That could be an absolute death trap, but he sticks it. And the only thing you have to say about that is OMG, AMG. Nicely done. Did either of you prepare notes from Andrew's list of fun facts for this race?
I have them somewhere. I just have to figure out where I put them.
Gonna be honest, I did not.
That's
I don't think
okay.
I can match Andrew's energy.
We knew he was going to be out this week for work, so he provided us a list of fun little notes for us. So we have to give that man some respect and read off at least a couple facts. As we see here, Flo early on the power to catch up to Browning and the McLaren that has a little bit of a bad exit. If he stays close here, he should be able to catch him into turn one. He has to lift, and the McLaren just takes that final corner much easier than the Mercedes and gets an extra gap. And further back, you see some side-by-side action right there. What are we looking at? Look, this filed 2x2. Who's going to follow who through? The Ferrari gets in. BMW seats. The Audi, I think that's Eduardo, yep, does lose out because he goes too deep. And still side by side further back.
Oh, Eduardo's off again.
Oh no.
He's keeping it clean, very respectful. They try to go too wide in that part of the track, which is very tough. And luckily for him, there's a nice gap behind him, so he doesn't have to worry about conceding any more positions. Keep on keeping on. Back in that battle, we just saw Roger Rodriguez in the McLaren holding off G-Tesh, and he's chasing down Flo. And then in front of Flo is Browning. This battle for the P14 through P18 is quite tight.
The Plan E Racing Ferrari pulling up the rear there. Oh, and that's the car we have almost perpendicular. He's not quite on the racing line, but he's got to hold his brakes and be careful about rejoining here.
GTG, I'm going to go back 15 seconds. What happened to the man?
Oh, not GTG.
Oh, he just loses the back end of the car there.
Did he get tapped? I guess it's too late to tell.
Too late. It looks like he just lost the car. And again, very respectful about getting back on track. Nicely done there. But that is unfortunate. The grid has sorted itself, though. Gutierrez, 1.5 seconds ahead of Pav. Pav, 2.5 seconds ahead of Sadat. And then Sadat, 3 seconds ahead of Sarkone. And Toddy, 1 second back. That's your top 5. And they're quite comfortable with the gaps right now, I'm sure. But something to contest with here is Browning is very concerned about Flo right behind and Rodriguez behind Flo. You can hear the tires squealing for mercy as they try and grip up on that fast part of the track here. Again, over this inside curb, they stick it nice. The Mercedes lurking behind. This is that section I think you can do some overtaking in if you stick this inside here, which you saw. He gets on the inside.
He calls it, gets a little bumpy. Oh, and puts Browning into the dirt for good measure.
That was a little argy-bargy, but that was, he had the inside apex like scripted or something. But he loses the position out to Flo's nice move there. And now he has to be concerned about Rodriguez right behind. McLaren on McLaren action.
Who's running the lower wing level?
It's a damn good question. This is what we're
Probably
looking
both
at.
Max, but it's okay. High downforce track, we need it.
For sure.
Oh, he goes off. Massive understeer into the final corner.
Taking iRacing lines to cool the tires.
Passage in chat. Hello, my friend. Right behind Rodriguez is G-Tesh, lurking in that white and blue Ferrari.
Ooh. Space Baker trying to make a move on Grover down the front straightaway. No luck.
These three cars here are on top of each other.
Can we get a message in chat from Mr. Aiden Grover? I think if there's anybody who can find time to type at Zandvoort, it's him.
He did. He said help. Literally, just
Good
did.
race?
Yes,
Yeah,
he
it's because
did.
he's getting chased down by a McLaren and a Ferrari right now.
What a
Or
legend.
Lambo.
Oh, and we see Browning have an off, and unfortunately for him, he loses several positions for it. This is not who I did the replay on, but okay. There, now you can just see Browning come screaming in from the left there. And that's how Herta got past Browning. That's what I was doing. That's what I was intended from the whole time. We have some other people in the chat asking for number 47, Mr. Brown, Jeff Brown, Armpit Cats. Probably the most unique name on the entire grid.
I don't know how to feel about this livery, but it's unique, like you said.
It's unique.
So we'll leave it there.
I think that this will help the argument. The person in chat says number 47 is from Florida.
Oh,
So,
that makes sense.
The Armpit
fair
Cats residing of Florida. Speaking of, before I get into mocking my own home state, we have a car backwards on turn 1. Okay, he gets turned around clean.
There's a couple of them now.
Yep, get going. Oh boy. Oh
By
boy.
the 7-Up McLaren.
The 7-Up McLaren taking prisoners, dumpstering Mr. Bolta, or Botla, excuse me.
The
Felipe.
7-Up McLaren isn't from a conglomerate, is it?
I'm not sure.
Yes. Because they have a Kish and Molyneux and D2 that are running 7-Up.
Oh, you're
Audis.
right. You're right.
I don't remember the name of the conglomerate, but I know
Well,
there's multiple.
I can help you with that. So, it is Ghost Rider Racing.
The Ghost Riders. I should have known that.
We should have known. They're out here
There's,
taking
Kyle
people's
Miller.
lives.
So they've got 6 cars because I got 2 guys in divisions 2, 3, and 4.
That seems to be the
Wow.
group in. As you see, Browning absolutely mug Boisenalt for P16. Nice move there down the inside.
Respectful from Boisenau to let him have it.
The door was not just left open; it was taken off the hinges and then given to him.
It's a first.
I'm out here feeling spicy tonight. But Boisenalt says, I'm not giving back to you that easy. And he's still hanging in there, about half second. But it looks like behind we have another Ghost Rider Racing guy, Mr. Whitting Jr., which, believe it or not, audience, plays on a freaking controller.
If you look closely, you can
You can tell.
observe
Wiggle, wiggle.
how herky-jerky his inputs are.
But if you have a dream, you chase it. And that's what this man's doing right now. So even you, from the comfort of your studio apartment with 300 square feet, can do a sim racing. and we'll host it for you.
I can just imagine how smooth this guy is on his thumbs.
He probably has, like we were talking about pre-race, like OG Call of Duty days where they had like those analog stick like covers and stuff like that. That's probably what he's using. Trick of the trade. Oh boy, oh boy. The commentator's curse had him losing position.
Probably hard to catch a spin or a slide on controller.
He just managed, but yeah, he definitely lost position after that. But Boisenalt is the bigger loser. He lost 5 positions with his moment. Let's see if I can catch it. Probably a little bit too late. Yeah, he's just off the track. He's taking the scenic route.
Mowing what little lawn there is at Zandvoort to mow.
They probably pay extra for that.
The rest of it is sand.
Al McGinnis says I heard he drives his real car with a controller too. For a wedding.
Cal McGinnis gets it.
Oh, goes deep into turn 1, dipping a wheel on the sand on the outside, but keeps the position from the guy behind, from Chiba.
And Chiba is flashing the lights to Mr. Botla, and he's saying, "Get out of my way."
I like those scare tactics.
He says, "I saw you go off. Do it again. I dare ya." I can tell you, though, Mr. Whitting Jr. is glad that Mr. Botla went off because he was getting pretty darn close to him. Further back in the grid, we have Rodriguez chasing Mr. Holmes. Holmes was in last place at the beginning of the race. He's now made himself up to P26. He's pushing like crazy. And he's about to try and take over another position from Space Baker in P25. But much like Ghost Rider Racing, Team McLaren here with Rodriguez, they have a boatload of drivers. I think the total across all 4 divisions is 16 drivers.
Yeah, it's a mob with that group for sure.
I'd like to propose Team McLaren Racing and apply them for the position of league villains.
Okay. Any particular reason? Any bias?
No, they're all great dudes. But they've stolen 17 drivers.
Yeah. Well, to be fair,
conglomerates.
To be fair, I think that with the personalities in that group, as you see Rodriguez taking the scenic route again behind, it's R. Rodriguez behind E. Rodriguez. I think that the personalities in Team McLaren would probably love to take the role of resident bad boy. So.
Fair enough.
And Dehi in the chat saying that with how bright the sun is, you probably won't even notice that someone's flashing you. And that Team McLaren's going to start their own league. So, sounds about right.
Then they'd really be villains.
Yeah. Gentlemen, let me tell you, it's a lot of work. Enjoy that. As we have an off from Mr. Bickham here, let's take a gander. 15 seconds back. Racing hard. And just bumped off by the Armpit Cat's Lexus there. Nice pirouette, a full 360 no-scope, and back on the track. Not bad.
For those of you that just caught Doug's 360 no-scope reference, we've learned tonight that Doug is a man of many trades.
Not true.
Call of Duty being one of them.
I was a super sweaty Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare, OG Modern Warfare, from not this recent one, because I'm much too old for that. Back in the day, high school, grinding that game out with my buddies. Those were the glory days. The days
just those 360s on track.
Exactly right. Those are the days where you would run home from school after the bus, dropped you off, and you just tell your mom to make you a snack, and you'd hop on the couch and turn on your Xbox or PlayStation. Those were the days. Now, I get done with work and I want to take a nap.
Agreed. Naps are great.
I'll tell you who can't take a nap is Mr. Brown, right behind my boy Bickham in the Ferrari, who wasn't able to get the Plan E Racing livery tonight. Maybe he's not using it. I think his teammate is Holmes. What livery is Holmes running? He's number
Well, I
126.
I can show you. It's bright yellow and it's perpendicular to the track.
I'll tell you what, he doesn't have a conglomerate livery either.
Yes,
I
he does
see
not.
correction.
And this is what
Oh.
you caused him. You cursed him by saying he doesn't have a conglomerate livery, and then he did this.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, buddy.
You're supposed
Just
to
got a
you're
little
supposed
too
to
early on the
support these
throttle.
people.
I'll support him after by telling him he got too early on the throttle out of turn 2.
Speaking of too early on the throttle, look at this too. Controller
Junior.
user.
Oh no.
Whitting Jr. Oh,
Keep it out of the wall? Oh, yeah.
yeah, he does. That's a Stance Nation pose right there, just in the dirt, wheel cocked a little bit. Yeah, that's nice. And again, respectful driving from the gang. Maybe the driver's briefing is settling in. The guys are being respectful about everything.
And it helps that the stewarding team introduced death by firing squad recently for lap 1 incident. So,
Bye, yeah.
Unfortunately, the budget does not allow for lethal injections. we
so we gotta revert to the old-fashioned way.
bullets are moderately expensive, but much cheaper than lethal injection. So we're looking here. It looks like there's a back marker getting swiftly out of the way here. Sircone in P4 has a lot of work to do to catch up to P3 with Sadat, 5-second gap. But you know who doesn't have a lot of work? Is Toddy and Spaghetti behind. They are firmly within a half a second of each other. This is the fight for P4, 5, and 6 here.
Wow, with Tower way behind. 9 seconds behind in P7.
Yep, this is
Okay.
your little cluster here. These guys are keeping each other honest. But while we've been carried away with all these on-track battles, you know, has swiftly encroached Mr. Duran. You see what time it is?
Pit stops.
Nice hit window time.
In just over a minute, pit stop will be opening, and drivers have to take 1 liter of fuel in a pit stop in order to meet their metric. On the scoreboard, you see the little orange box with a 1 on it. Drivers that satisfy that will be turn that orange box into a green box, and they have 10 minutes to do so. If they don't, do you know what happens, Mr. Sarver?
If you don't make your pit stop in the correct time, you get disqualified from the race.
You don't get disqualified.
Or is it no, it's a, what is it?
It's a
time penalty.
130-second penalty.
That's what,
Because
Two-
2
over 2
minutes
minutes.
wasn't enough.
2 minutes and 10 seconds.
Do you know how long a lap time is around here?
Minute 37 if you're good.
Exactly. That is over a lap penalty if you don't take that pit stop. So drivers are encouraged to do so, obviously. Trust, you cannot make up a pit stop by just staying out.
No.
The pit timing is a lot more crucial here since we're falling so closely to each other. You can get held up pretty significantly here, as we've already gone over, so if you are getting held up, it's probably ideal to pit a little bit earlier than you normally would and try to undercut the guy in front.
Speaking of closer, this little group here, Space Baker, Rodriguez, and Forsling, all here, P23, 24, and 25. They are about as close as ever. 3 McLarens duking it out. As I see Forsling exit stage right, says 3 is too many, and Rodriguez goes side by side through a very hard braking here in the chicane. Nice driving on the outside. Well done. Team McLaren's going to put that on blast later. I can imagine all the clips and all the people going nuts for that one. And the pit window is open. People are diving in right off the get-go. 4 drivers on my screen right off the bat.
Stay out, Mr. Rodriguez. Stay out.
Yeah,
You've earned that
The
spot.
middle of the pack's getting pits.
No!
Early.
He goes
Don't
in
do
and
it!
concedes. Dahy in the chat being devilish, cheeky even. Oh, Aiden Grover. Okay. Oh, these drivers are just getting yellow flags for slowing down. Okay, that's okay. Dahy in the chat feeling cheeky. He's asking how many stop-go 30s for speeding in the pit lane are going to be. Stop go 30 is pretty fierce. Drive-through penalties for just speeding a little bit. So what's the over/under, chat? Are we feeling 2, 3, 10? What are your thoughts? You better get your answers in quick because people are leaving the pits.
Oh, we have a little pit overtake there.
That was sexy. You don't see those every day. And I'm a big fan of head games with the pits. Am I right, Duran?
Is it flashback night?
I don't know. I'm just feeling a little cheeky.
Throwback to Snetterton
Nate
season
Allen says
2.
4 as well.
Nate
we
Allen
remind
4, Dahey 2.
2.
I like you, Nate Allen. You pick good numbers.
Yeah, 4 is a good number. Speaking of good, the Badmins, as you see a McLaren off track getting out of the way for P1 and 2. The sexiest car on grid are just driving off in tandem, and that makes me very happy, Conglomerate owner. I would love a champagne shower at the end of this evening. Let's see if the boys can keep it up.
I think
Yeah,
you should hop in their team chat and encourage them to go no holds barred, race as hard as you can against each other.
That would be the exact opposite thing to do. That's probably something that a scrub team like Planny Racing would do.
And that's why we're the exciting team to join, folks. We don't limit your potential.
The two Hondas have been going through the lap traffic pretty easily too.
Yes, they have. I'm not going to jinx it, though. We're going to leave here, and we're going to get on board with Bailey in P12. He's being followed by Connolly and Spaghetti, who both have pitted already. So it's up to Bailey to basically hold these drivers up and gain himself much-needed time on track. But I promise you, Connolly, and Spaghetti are going to be in a hurry to get past. As you see, oh no!
No!
Carnage.
Spaghetti. And who is that?
And Felipe Botla, excuse me. Heavy on the braking. Okay. Just a little eager, carries a little extra speed. Does not expect Spaghetti to slow down so much and just takes him out. And as we see, Bailey does dive into the pits. Now the question is, there's 6 minutes left in the pit window here. What do Gutierrez and Pav do in terms of their pit stop strategy? You see they're coming up into traffic here. They're going to start getting slowed down. One of them has to peel off so that they can save time. Right now they're just preventing each other and holding each other out. What are you guys' thoughts?
We'd love to see.
Don't be like this.
We have to hit this time by, I think.
I think
Or
so.
no,
There's
no.
still 5 minutes left, but that
5
would be
minutes,
the
5
strategic thing to do. Neither of them are
Yeah.
peeling off, though. They're going to keep
Yeah.
pushing.
Really?
I like it.
I guess
I'll
they
tell
feel
you-
like they can go through the traffic pretty quickly.
That, or they're just enjoying just driving next to each other. Almost, I guess they don't have to share a pit box like Formula One, so they can just keep going and they can pit at the same time and keep kind of basically defending for one another. As you see, the respectful blue flag on the right there. And they
Boy,
just
that was
cede.
close.
Yep, that was quite close, but they just keep driving. Good on you, boys. Keep going. We have...
I think Av is going to undercut his teammate.
Pav's gonna go in this lap.
I think he is. Got to make the call.
Right now, we're on board with Nick Tower with the NASA-inspired AMR. He's contesting J Rally and another Team McLaren. There's many of them out there. And then followed by Spaghetti, who we saw was murdered earlier in P13. All three cascading down into turn one. Dahey says time to promote both of them. I think he's referring to the two Hondas. And my response to that is no. Give the boys their time to shine.
We're watching D3 right now. These guys are easy D2. But I guess the season will unfold and we will see For sure.
Exactly right. All I can say is that I was on an Alaskan cruise when everyone determined, the other admins determined where everyone was going to be seated in which division. So the bias is not there. I just happen to recruit fantastic drivers.
Although I don't want to snub Mr. Sadat. He's only a little under 3 seconds behind Pav.
You're not wrong.
So he's hanging up there with the best of them.
He's in the Porsche, which is the best car at this track by a pretty sizable margin. If you watch the D1 stream, I think the first 4 cars during qualifying were all Porsches, which just hurts me.
Confirm.
Yeah, it was gross to watch.
I think there's only 1 or 2 in Division 4, so we didn't have that issue last night.
You didn't have a Porsche. I think in D4, y'all had McLarens on the front of the grid.
Yeah, we had McLarens and then some of the Hondas.
Yeah, good stuff. If you're just now getting into SRA and this is your first time, check us out on simracingalliance.com and our subsequent Discord, discord.gg/simracingalliance. Get involved. We have 4 divisions with nearly 50 drivers apiece, and we are quite active and proud of the community we've been able to cultivate. You do not have to be all that well experienced in sim racing to get acclimated. We have coaching, like Mr. Duran here. We've been teasing a little bit this evening, but he does a phenomenal job, along with many of our other coaches on the intimate. Oh boy, Mr. Tower has a landscaping moment and concedes a position, but does manage to save the car and not lose 2 for 1. So nice job on him.
Both the Hondas are now in the pits.
Oh, and Sadat does claim.
Out more.
Yep, Sadat does claim P1. The question is, I guess technically he has to pit this next time. He might have enough time to go around. No, there's no way he has enough time to go back around now. Yeah, he has to go. So let's see. Yeah, so let's see where the 2 Hondas come out in court in retrospect to him. So that will be an interesting battle to watch. We'll have to go back to that. Curtis Lee, I saw a yellow flag, but he's diving into the pits. Nice clean entry there. And
Watts to split the Hondas. Is that what you're looking at?
That's what I'm looking at right now. He came out of the pits. No, excuse me, he hasn't come out of the pits. He hasn't served a pit stop yet, and he split my 2 Honda boys. Get out of their way, Watts. Let them do their thing.
Back them up.
Also looks like Gutierrez lost time to Pav. Wasn't it the other way around when they went in?
You're 100% right. Duran called it. That Pav did nail his pit stop, and it looks like Gutierrez took a little bit longer. I can look here. The time in the pits, Pav 29 seconds versus Gutierrez 32. So a 3-second difference, and that's what's going to get you P1 versus P2 if they continue to race like this.
About to see where Sadat's going to come out. I don't know if it's going to be, if there's anything he can do, because 29 seconds is fairly quick, and he's just stopping now as the Hondas get onto the pit straight. Looks like they're going to blow past him there. And he's going to have to stay in P3 or P4?
Yep, there they go. Sadat is pulling out now. He was stopped for quite a while.
Sircon's going to get Sadat as well.
Watts has entered the pits too. Watts was the last person to pit, and for good measure, he literally used every second he could. Nicely done.
Did we have a single stop go 30?
Not yet, not unless Mr. Watts gives it to us. So the over-under, clean bout from these guys. D3 has always impressed me. I commentate for D3 quite often, and I find that the racing here is very clean, as clean as they can, and they are very specific on like the technical applications of the race. I feel like they do a good job with blue flags. I feel like they do a good job in their pit stops, and they give space to one another. This is my favorite division to watch because it's just clean racing. And yes, they make mistakes here and there because they're still learning how to really commit to that car control, but that just leaves opportunities for overtakes, and I just really enjoy this group of guys.
And so does the stewarding team.
That's true. You don't have the hanky-panky of the other divisions that make so many tickets appear. But if you're watching and you want to get more involved with SRA on more than just a driver level, you can join our staff in a stewarding capacity, a commentator capacity, because we like to have a lot of fun up here. And we also have graphic designers, IT people, the list goes on. And believe you when I say I cannot thank those that contribute to the league in those capacities anymore. They do a sensational job, and they give us a awesome platform to provide racing for all of you. And Dahi did in the chat say, I think his password choice helped. Yeah, he was feeling a little bit silly, and he made the password for the server tonight stop go 30. And maybe he just really stuck with the drivers. But yep, Mr. Watts has left the pits, and he did not get one. So not a single penalty for the pit stops. That's not bad.
We just saw something dicey through turn 7. I don't know who was turned around, but
It was the Armpit Cats Lexus, it looked like, right?
I see 444 is still stopped on the track. I grab him.
That is Tommy Dong, I think, in the Mercedes. Is that right?
Yeah, it's the Castrol
Yep.
colored McLaren. Oh well.
Yep, that is unfortunate.
He's just sitting there. He just had to wait for the whole field to go by.
Yeah. He's having a rough race. He's in last place by a pretty healthy margin, but at least he's being respectful and making sure he's not ruining someone else's race by the incidents there. We're on board with sorry to interrupt, with Justin Rowley of yet another Team McLaren. They're all over the damn place. Being hawked down by Nick Tower and Tony Spaghetti in the AMR and Mercedes behind. This is the closest battle on track at the moment. And can you see the absolute massive gap that Pav has put on Gutierrez Duran?
am I reading those numbers correctly?
9 seconds, bro.
That's insane.
Something must have happened to Gutierrez.
Do you
He must
smell...
have gotten into it with a blue flag, or
No, I smell spinach and artichoke dip. Because he took him to Gapplebee's, you know what I'm saying?
Good lord.
I smell refried beans.
Not again. Not again.
And queso.
Oh, I love queso. Liquid cheese. Duran, you, me, Vegas, liquid cheese.
Híjole.
Ay, Dios mío, queso blanco en mi boca. That's enough out of that. Okay.
Oh, God.
Let's go to a different part of the grid here, shall we? William Forsling is pushing like a madman to catch up to Mr. Space Baker here. By the way, I have to say it, Space Baker, that's a cool name. We have 4 McLarens in quick succession here.
There's no way that's his real last name.
No, it has to be.
That has to be legally changed or made up. That is so cool. Space Baker.
Yeah. Oh, Forsling braking a little later than his counterpart in front. Manages to save it. Luckily, there's some heavy banking on that corner to help him slow down. And he is still pushing quite hard. Forsling is feeling sad on track because his teammate Alex Daniel did not show up this week. That's probably why he's having a hard time out there. Camaraderie is important in this league.
Oh, 100%. You can't. It's hard not to get involved in it, honestly. There's just so many opportunities, so many windows to make wisecracks or just throw in a meme.
There's even like there's inside jokes that go back like 4 seasons already, and it catches some people out. They're like, "What are they talking about?" But guess what? You get more involved, you start learning them, the inside jokes, and they take off. And there's new ones born every day. Like today, apparently the joke, especially Kyle McGinnis reinforcing it. He says, "Queso equals best soup." And Nate Allen says Space Baker is his cousin. It's a real name. It's his real name.
Well, Nate Allen, you are on the wrong side of the family because you could have had that name.
I couldn't agree more. Space Baker's
I don't know
goat.
what happened to Riley, but Spaghetti ran into him into turn 1 and has jostled the top 10 quite a bit at the back half of that.
Yeah, Whitting Jr. having a moment too. Maybe his controller disconnected.
Oh no.
As you can see there, a little bit too much turning on a part of the track that didn't require that much. And now he has the unfortunate blue flag scenario, so he has to slow down even more. Up into the foursome of McLarens here. Rodriguez putting immense pressure on Browning, the other 7-up McLaren. The one driven by what I hope is a steering wheel and pedals. And Nate Allen in the chat says, trust me, I know. He's just so envious of that Space Baker last name. I was going to make a marry your cousin joke, but that only belongs in Alabama. So.
I don't know. We might have a chat for that. Like I said, we got something for everyone.
Do I hear church bells, Nate Allen? Oh no, Rodriguez has a moment.
SRA does not condone incest.
No, we don't. But if it's love, it doesn't count. All right. Jay Rally is on the butt of Mr. Watts, pushing. Every time I go to somebody, it's a Team McLaren driver. This is getting silly. But to be fair, they are competitive, so they're all over the grid. He's fallen off a little bit, so I'm going to, I guess I could showcase the battle for P2. Sircone has closed the gap to Gutierrez, and the gap from Gutierrez to Pav is 10 seconds. So Pav is gone.
Looking a little closer at Gutierrez's car, it definitely looks like he has some damage.
Let's take a gander.
So I think he might have had a moment with the wall.
You see what that
His
hood's
hood
doing?
is ready to fly.
It's a bouncing.
So that's why he's losing time to Pav so rapidly. If Pav can keep it clean, then he's probably got this race in the bag. But then the question is who rounds out the next 2 podium places.
Yeah, but what have they done to my boy? The hood. You know, these cars, Mr. Gutierrez, they don't come cheap. Okay, bring it home in one piece. The conglomerate does not want to write a bill for a new bumper. You have any idea how much time I spent in the paint booth with this car? You can't damage it.
I don't remember who I was oh, it was Holmes. It was Holmes, actually. I was talking to Holmes the other day, and he said we should have a fantasy budget. So you can only, where you correlate seconds of damage to dollars, and you have a budget for crashing over the course of the 8-week season. And if you run out of the budget, then you will have to drop out of all the rest of the races.
You know who would spend the biggest budget was Riley when he blew up his Ferrari engine last night, doing 26,000 RPMs on it. It was a bug and his engine blew up.
No way, that sounds terrible.
Oh, we watched it in the replay, and his car went from 2,200 to 22,000 RPMs, and then his car just turned off. Yeah, you hate to see it. Oh boy, we're about to see a move here. The Badman's Mobile is about to get overtaken. Yep.
Wow.
Made it look easy. Gutierrez slow.
That puts Mr. Sadat in contention for P3. Not the Ferraris I wanted to see, but you know what? It's not a Honda. Sorry, boys.
I feel targeted. What I can say, though, is Sadat, like you mentioned, is going to be much faster than Gutierrez. Last lap, Gutierrez's lap time was 138.5, and Sadat was a full second faster.
Sadat definitely has the edge with that car in these corners. The end of Sector 2 going into Sector 3.
But
It's got much better rotation.
But don't count out Gutierrez. He's a great driver, and he's going to nurse that car as much as he can. The best thing he can do for Pav, his teammate, is to slow down these people as much as possible. If he's going to lose a position, hold them up. Further back, we have a juicy battle between Rally, Flo, and GTG, all within a half second of each other. And that looks... Oh, and Watts in front also.
Watts was a little bit further ahead, but he had a slip up coming out of turn 3 and collected this group behind him.
Talk about baggage. Make one mistake and you find 3 mouths to feed.
Especially hard to pass in this situation unless you are the car running second in the train, because everybody has the tow going down the line.
Off again.
Watching them all streamline along the
Oh,
final
hits
corner
the
there.
curb on the end of the chicane and just dinks it in the wall.
Who was that?
Holmes in the 126 Ferrari.
Yikes. He's having a rough
He's
night.
running up his budget.
Yeah, it looked like he took some front damage off of that. It's on the hardest straight line speed and his aero.
Is your conglomerate gonna foot the bill on that one, buddy?
No comment.
No comment.
We're gonna send that to Father Mattia.
Mm.
Ooh.
I'm
Bull
sure he'll
strategy.
be willing to pay for it and will not place any of the blame on us.
There's never any blame in that garage.
It's a happy place. Happy thoughts, everyone. Happy thoughts.
How can you not be happy when you're wearing clown makeup? All right,
Tears don't wipe away clown makeup.
This is true. They do cause tears though, because fear of clowns is real. Sadat to Dahi's point while we were watching this did get past Gutierrez, and he's already 2 seconds clear of him. So Gutierrez struggling, and he's not out of the woods yet. Robbie Toddy is also looking to catch up to him.
Yeah, Toddy's within 2 seconds now. He does have a lap car between them. I think that's Boisenal. Let me look at the relative. Yeah, they got Boisenal between them. Nope. Oh no, Toddy's off. Boisenal let up and Toddy slid off into the grass and hit the safer barrier.
Duran, that is huge for the program. A
That's
former
gonna save Gutierrez for a little bit.
Exactly, a former 2 second gap turns into a 7 second gap. Gutierrez, go my boy. And
I guess that puts week 1 race winner Ramsey Connolly in the chase for P4 then.
P5 at the moment. He's 5 seconds back on my board. He's got some work to do.
Oh, I see
Yeah,
now.
5-5.
Yep.
I see.
Yep. Sadat is closing in to P2 now. 2 tenths back from Sircone. Sadat making an absolute surge. This Porsche is coming alive in the latter portions of this race.
Yeah, we've only got 10 laps left, or 10 minutes, 7 or 8 laps left.
Flashes the inside. Sircone's feeling the pressure. He holds the inside line, sacrificing some pace. And we're coming up on some blue flag people. This is about to get a little bit sketchy.
That's a long
they
line of cars too.
Are those blue flags racing each other?
Most likely.
25th, 24th, 23rd, 22nd, 1st, and 32nd in that group.
Oh, this is not the train you want to be coming
A
up
long
on.
train, yeah, a long train also getting passed by the leaders.
This is the worst case scenario for Sadat. But Sircone's going to have his hands full here. As we have a car off to the side, I think that is Mr. Tommy Dong. So he is off and can see in the position. One blue flag peels off and does some landscaping. So that's one and done for the 2 gents that we're watching here. Another one peels off to the right. Are they going to let him by clean and easy? I'm going to go to Sircone to see. Keep in mind Sadat is just 8 tenths behind. Who is that in the Lambo? Is that Grover?
Over.
There's
Okay.
only one Lambo.
Grover,
The only brave soul.
I saw you message about a livery. It's still not working, buddy. Get that into Awesome Sim Racing. I downloaded it
It's
right away.
crazy. Yeah, I got it downloaded too, and it's not pulling up for
No
me as
bueno.
well.
If you need some tips, check out our YouTube video explaining it. But yeah, peel off to the side, Mr. Grover. Good sport. And now Sadat is a second back from Sircone. We'll keep an eye on this gap. It is going to be very tight. Speaking of tight, GTG on Watts, about as close as it gets. And right behind Rally, the Team McLaren in front.
It's another close battle. The BMW seems strong around here this evening.
BMW is top 3 car at almost every track. Maybe top 4 if it's like really particularly bad at one track. It's a really good platform.
Very above average, very beginner friendly.
And it's great on the brakes. So when defending, you can just be brave on the brakes and you're going to win every single braking battle.
I might have to try it.
What are you in right now, Steven?
I'm in the Audi. I've been in this, the Evo 2 since it released.
Ah.
Before that, I was in the Honda, and that update made the Honda really hard for me to control, so I went to something a little more stable.
Jan Rodricks in the chat saying, I should have stayed in the BMW this season. Yes. Yes, you should have.
Yeah.
You would be drinking out of another shoe, my friend.
You could have swayed me. I would have went to it.
He says, I blame Sarver. Yeah, and there's some contention in the chat now. Ruh-roh.
He had a good race last night. A little bit of incident at the beginning, but finished well.
No doubt. Forsling gets past Chiba. Let's take a gander here. See if we can catch it. Yep. Down the front straight, hard on the brakes. Forsling takes the racing line. Does go a little bit deep, but is able to get some more momentum on the outside. Nicely done. Clean overtake. Not out of the woods yet. Chiba is right behind, though, looking for that move. And as we see, I think Rally gets passed by Watts and GTG. What happened here? Yep, just as I suspected, he is going to the beach, did not bring a towel, gets sunburned, and passed by 2 cars simultaneously.
That's not what you want to see for Team McLaren.
No, he's going to get a stern talking to by the other 16 drivers. It's like a fraternity. They're just going to stone you to death if you do stuff like that. But trust that he's going to want to earn his spot back. Flo is right behind him, and he's right on the tail of GTG and Watts. This is going to be a battle to the finish with only 6 minutes left. But speaking of battles, Sadat is back in the hunt of Sircone. Keep an eye on that one for me, Mr. Sarver.
I will roll back to these guys.
Sadat is feeling hungry. And someone we haven't given a lot of love to yet is Holmes. We've seen him make a lot of little one-off mistakes here. Now he's looking to pass Winning Jr. It looks like he has the pace to do it. It's just a matter of whether he can get there or not. The yellow Ferrari looking very good. And in recent news, Ferrari's going to be sporting some extra yellow on their Formula One car. If you haven't seen it yet, take a look. They have a cool little hype video for it. I think they're trying to distract viewers from the absolute abomination that they do on track every week with a cool livery.
That's fair enough.
You can't hide from Reddit.
The trolls are out, and they have eyes everywhere. They're worse than the
Take no
IRS.
prisoners. Oh, easily. Easily. They'll take your firstborn if they want to, if they're bored.
Nate Allen gets it. Ferrari Strat's still bad in yellow. I couldn't agree more. Just 3/10 back, but it's not going to be enough. Whitting Jr. is going to show the inside line. He is going to do it. Late on the brakes and a little bit awkward here. Was that a...
That's not a blue flag.
It's not a blue flag. That's a Plan E driver.
That might be. Is that Gtesh?
Very well might
I think so.
be. A little clumsy from the two here. They battling, not really sure who's gonna go where. Keeping it honest though, which is good.
Watts slips up coming into the chicane area, and Jober gets by.
Nice move from the man. Now he just has to hold the inside line. He's not going to, so the Lexus is going to try and outbrake. Does not. Nice clean racing from the guys here. The McLaren. Oh, GTG has a little bit of a slip up here. It's so hard to pass in this section of the track, though, so I think he's going to be safe. But who's going to get a better run out of the final corner here?
Who can hold it wide open?
It might have compromised him to rally behind. No, it doesn't look like Rally got a good enough run out.
No, he had to lift the throttle.
Rally's definitely closer now. He might be able to take a spot back.
All right, there's only 3 minutes left in the race. Anyone in chat? Who do you want to see one last time before we end the stream? Anyone getting particular shout-outs?
Who do we got?
No one yet, but man, does this Lexus sound good. He cheering on Sadat. Sadat is outside of the 1 second margin for Sircone. I think it's too little too late.
Gutierrez isn't far behind. I guess it is maybe 2 laps left, but
As we see Watts have a moment, and Rally's going to sneak up, but the inside line here is the better one. Who's brave? He gets the job done.
Again?
Yep, the exact same spot, the exact
Man,
same scenario.
2 laps in a row.
He's just getting a really bad exit off that tight hairpin, and it's leading him to get overtaken on that back straight into that hard right-hander. But keep it going, bud. You're doing great. Still in P10. Top 10's a good finish. You have to contest with Flo on the latter portion of this race here. The only other battle on track here, as we see the Lexus go super deep, is Forsling attacking Space Baker for P20. That gap is around 0.6. Everyone else is pretty much spread out here at the moment. This threesome for 9th, 10th, and 11th is the closest bit you're going to get here. And there's a blue flag in the midst. Pull over to the side.
it's the imposter.
The white Merc. I can't watch. There he goes. He says, exit stage left. You guys can take the racing line. That it was Dong.
Okay, the leader is on the final lap.
Final lap
Give it
for the
all you
leader
can.
here.
Pav with a 12-second gap, nursing P1 by a long shot in the best-looking car on the grid. Has to do nothing but just a lazy lap around Zandy to claim P1. His teammate Gutierrez in P4 has the fastest lap of the race with a 36.5. And he's looking to nurse his car over the finish line. But Sircone, a new driver to the league, has found himself in P2 in a really comfortable position. I saw a yellow flag for Tower, but it seems like he's okay in P7. That's why I jumped over to him. And Curtis Lee's only 5/10 behind Spaghetti. Let's see if he can surge for the final lap here. All the other battles are pretty much non-existent, apart from Forsling attacking Space Baker. Oh, Curtis going brave. Oh, Curtis brave. Oh,
He gave it
Curtis.
the beans. Oh, he gave it the refried beans. No.
Oh, Curtis. Oh, and then he spins himself.
Yeah, he did, but that's okay. We didn't see anything, okay? He lost a couple positions, no big deal. Just, you know,
Composure.
don't worry about it. But as we see here in the crossing the finish line, my boy Pav in P1. Nice job for the man. Retire, drink a bottle of champagne. You've earned it. Sircone, P2, crossing the finish line. Excellent job. Sadat in P3, another fantastic performance. Gutierrez rounds out P4. Nice job nursing the car home. Toddy, well, we already had OMG, it's Pav leave, so now we have to add 1 to everything. So Toddy in P5. Ramsey Connolly, good performance 2 weeks in a row, P6. Nick Tower, P7, rounding the final corner. And just a bit behind as he crosses the finish line here for P7. We have GTG in P8, Rally in P9, Watts in P10, Flo 11th, Hanky in Plan E or anything for 11th, or people are leaving
12th.
now, so it's hard.
Yeah.
So 12th, Spaghetti 13th, Bickham, another new driver, in 14th. Curtis, after a moment, 15th. G-Tesh, Plan E Racing, for 16th. And these guys right here, battling to the last corner. Right there. Boom, 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 finish within 1/10 of each other. Awesome work. G-Tesh, Bailey, and Botla there for rounding out that. The grid, great performance from the gang. Nicely done. What are some final moments for you guys?
I don't know, but I'm gonna have a stern talking with. Actually, you know what? No, it's not our fault. It's not our fault.
Are you inferring that Planet E Racing needs some reprimanding?
It's not our fault. We didn't do it.
You're taking after your Formula One brother and just not owning the issue here. Is that what this is?
Learning from the second best, soon to be third best.
Well done. Sarver, what are your thoughts on another fantastic D3 race?
They did great. I didn't see a whole lot of, as Andrew would say, argy-bargy. They kept it pretty much in line, and all the passes were pretty clean throughout the whole 60 minutes.
Great. And this just in, ladies and gentlemen, Dahe's saying that Normando won D2. That is 2 Badman Honda wins tonight. You love to see it. Big for the program.
Pain.
Pain.
Nothing but pain on this side of the microphone.
Sounds like some expansion is gonna happen. You get all that extra winnings.
Oh, you have no idea. We're gonna be blowing it out in Vegas on Queso. Say less.
New villains. New villains.
All right, Duran, I am hosting the stream, so my hands are tied. Do you mind trying to find us some podium winners?
I will go hunting. In all seriousness, congrats to the winners tonight. You guys did a great job. I have Pav. I'm gonna pull him in here.
Oh,
I could probably find.
I hope I move him to the right commentator's box. We will see. 3, 2, 1. Pav. There we go.
He is. The Dadman conglomerate can sleep tight tonight. Pav brings it home for P1. How are you feeling, sir?
I am sweating. I am wet, moist, whatever word you want to use. I was sweating buckets because I didn't finish at all at Spa, so I really needed this.
Well, whatever you took and you were hydrated enough to sweat that much, I encourage it for next race because it got the job done, my friend. And what was going through your head when you and your teammate Gutierrez were just running away with the race in the first stint?
I was just planning on cruising. We were just cruising. We're doing well. I'm a little bit mad at him because he wouldn't let me get in the tow, so we could cruise away even further. But that's besides the point.
Well, doesn't the back of your car say enjoy the tow, and he wasn't even allowing that?
I need to talk to him.
Yeah, I will talk to him. Okay. But all jokes aside, nice job, man. Any takeaways from the performance tonight?
NSX is hella difficult to drive. It wants to kill me at every possible moment, and I think it's going to be a good time driving it for the rest of the season, but I do look forward to driving the front engine car next season.
Yes, the Dabman conglomerate is shopping for a new car manufacturer for next season, so bet that the Honda NSX is being yeeted out the window. Trust that. But nice job, Pav. Really marking
it.
your status in D3. We'll see more of you next week.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Who else can we get up here, boys?
Sir Cohen's down in race chat too. We can pull him.
We have to. You got P2.
See if I can move. Got him.
Mr. Sircone, you gave us an awesome performance, a very quiet race for the most part, just smooth, steady, and a P2 finish. What are your thoughts?
Kind of speechless.
Oh, you deserve it.
Definitely didn't expect P2, but I don't know. Kept my composure the whole race and brought it home. I've been practicing all week, and all week I've been screwing up turns 8, 9, and 10. But it seems like this race I just nailed it.
If you had to
It's
guess,
all worth it in the end.
yeah, well, if you had to guess, how much did you practice this week?
How many laps?
We're talking hours, like 4 hours, 10 hours, 36 hours. How much we talking?
Let's see.
Carry the one.
I don't know, probably 8, 9, maybe.
You heard it here first, folks. If you dedicate 8 to 9 hours of your life to this game into SRA, you too can get a podium. Okay? You heard it here first.
I pretty much got into some test laps because I work from home, so I don't take a lunch, so my hour lunch break, I usually try and get a few laps in.
That's
So
commitment to the craft.
I feel it.
There's almost 5 hours right there.
This man doesn't eat, he sim races. And that's also great for weight reduction on the car. So that's big brain.
Yeah, my janky wooden built sim rig.
Do you have a wheel and pedals?
I do.
It's
Enough
not a
said.
controller.
We were flaming Whitting Jr. for using a controller. So you have a wheel and pedals, and no matter how janky, you are looking good on the podium, my friend. Well, nicely done.
Appreciate it.
Well, the
It was
question
fun.
is, are you going to replicate this for next week?
I'm definitely thinking I'm gonna sure shit try.
That's what we like to hear. Duran, any closing statements for our resident P2?
Second week in a row where we pronounced your name correctly. Second week in a row you've given us a solid race to broadcast. So for that, we thank you, sir.
Glad to hear it. Glad you guys enjoyed it. I sure shit had fun.
That's what we like to hear.
That was wonderful.
All right, my friend, thank you for your contribution, and enjoy the rest of your week.
Thank you.
All right, I want one more interview. And
Do we have a driver of the day from chat that we could bring in?
That's a great question.
Is chat still alive?
Maybe.
You guys see any standouts down there in race chat too?
You know, I've always wanted to interview Aiden Grover.
We had Aiden on last week. I have no
Did-
problem
did
bringing
you?
him on this week. Yep.
You got Aiden and I didn't?
Yep.
We have to fix this.
Where is he?
He always like runs off so quick. I think he was in chat, but maybe we bring Curtis up here.
That sounds like a good one.
Yeah, I like Curtis.
Go ahead and
Just
bring Curtis.
rally day, he says too.
Curtis is deafened and muted though. I don't know if he'd
Nah.
realize that he got brought in.
Nah, just rip him up here. We'll give him a shot.
Okay. All right.
I don't even see rally though.
The louder you scream, the faster you'll make it through his headset.
Curtis! Are you there, buddy? Probably not. He just ripped the VR headset off of his head. He's like, I'm done. That was a mess. I'm exhausted. I'm a sweaty mess. I have a baby to go take care of before the wife takes me out back like old Yeller. He's done. He's done for the night. But just know, Curtis, when you're watching this back, that you had a moment in time, and a platform to say whatever you wanted to say, and you blew it. But all jokes aside, uh, ladies and gentlemen of the jury and the SRA audience, I want to thank you for sticking around with us for nearly 2 hours and enjoying what we called our Division 3 Race 2 at Zandvoort. SRA, if you want to get involved, simracingalliance.com, and join the community with discord.gg/simracingalliance. We have the GT3 Team Series, like you saw today, which has 4 divisions, plenty of space for you to get involved. We have a new multi-class Mayhem event starting on Fridays, which is going to be exciting. That's GT3 and GT4 cars simultaneously. Really looking forward to that. And then we have endurance races, and the one for September is on the 24th. It is 8 hours of Suzuka, so get prepared for that. So that is it from me. Do either of you have any closing statements you'd like to share with the community?
We will see you back next week for Monza,
That'll be a fun one.
and it's Monza at
At night.
night.
At night. You thought Zandy turn 1 was rough. Hello, Monza. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Like, subscribe, and check out the Twitch stream that showed D2 tonight. And then watch back D1 and D4 on our YouTube channel. Send us your bits, your likes, your follows, your subscriptions, all that good stuff. Keep us growing. Thanks, everybody.
Adios.
Bye.